Hi, how's it going? Welcome. This is going to be a quick introduction to the Hioki 8841 Memory HiCorder. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes to explain how to set up some basic trends and how to do some triggering. Alright, so let's plug some power into it and turn it on. The switch on the right here. While that's booting up, I'm just going to show you what we've got connected. So we've got some analog inputs here with our oscilloscope probes, and you can see the rating on the side. And we've also got some digital inputs, so you'll need a special connector to connect those digitals. Alright, we're all booted up. So to start with, the first thing you're going to want to configure is the setting just on the right here. See where it says Memory HiCorder RMS? So the easiest way to do this, just to record some oscillography, so we're just going to be recording some 50 Hz waves, is we're just going to press the memory button. You can see that's selected already. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up our channels. So if you just press the See Channel button up here, it'll bring up a channel selector. On this page you can use these keys here to navigate around, and we're just going to click down, and we can actually turn them, once we've selected down to one of the channels, so I'm just on channel 1, you can see channel 1's flashing up here. I can turn it on or off, so if I turn it off, then all the other options go away. If I turn it back on, I can then select a color, so that's what's going on here, and I can also select the other options by moving the cursor around. So if I move, I'm just going to be selecting to the right here. You can see that I can select the voltage, so this is the voltage per division. So if I select 20, that's the maximum this will go to if I'm just increasing by pressing this button here. So the maximum it will go to, you can see the options are listed just here. So the maximum voltage per division is 20, and we can go all the way down to 5 millivolts just by moving these buttons here. In this case I'm going to leave it at 20 volts because we're going to be running some phase-to-phase AC into this. The next is, if you select across to the right, you can select whether it's a AC or DC coupling. So we'll leave this as AC coupling. And you can also set up a couple of other options in here, but I'm going to leave all these all on the defaults. So go through and set that up for your other channels. I've already done mine. As you can see, I've turned off the bottom 3. So these bottom 3 channels are all turned off. And I'm only going to be using channels 1 through 5. Alright, that's done with the channels. You can also set up the other channels just by toggling through the channel button. Alright, next thing we're going to do is the triggering. So this will be the trigger to record. In this particular case, I've got it set up to trigger on channel 5, so once again I can use these keys on the cursor to move around. So I'm just going to scroll down to trigger mode. Now the two trigger modes you really care about are single and auto. So in this case I've selected single. When I select single, it's only going to record when the trigger goes high. If you were to select auto, that is how you just have values displaying and scrolling across the screen continuously. So if you just want to be able to watch what's going on and not actually do any recordings, press the auto button and you're good to go. Next thing you want to do is set the trigger. So in this case, this is how much recording occurs before the trigger and how much recording occurs after the trigger. In my case, I'm going to leave it at 50%, but if I wanted to change it, I would use these two buttons here. Having the manual trigger on will allow me to automatically trigger without using the automatic trigger. I can actually just press this manual trigger button. So make sure that's enabled so you can use the manual trigger button should you want to. Then I'm going to scroll down here. In this case, I've got level 5's input number 5 set to a level. You can change it from off if you didn't want to use it. You can set it to a level, which means when there's a positive slope and the level goes above 10 degrees, then the trigger will occur. You could also set that to an inbounds, so when voltage occurs in that range will trigger, when voltage is out of that voltage will trigger, and a few others. The last thing that we've got here is the so if we go back to display just by pressing the DISP button, now we're actually all good to go. Actually, sorry, I will show you one more thing, which is the status. So if you're on a status, it's by pressing the status button up here, then you can change the number of the horizontal divisions. So if you just scroll down by using the cursor, then you can use these keys to move the number of milliseconds per division up and down. I'm going to leave it at 20 milliseconds, which means at 50 Hz I'll have one full cycle per division. When a shot gets fired, this is the number of divisions which will be recorded. So remember that 50% before and 50% after is what I've already set up. So if I just move this up and down, I can record more or less divisions. You don't want to record too many divisions, because if you press the print button, you're going to end up with a lot of paper printing out. So I'm going to leave this at 50 divisions at the moment. Alright, let's go back to the main screen by pressing DISP. Okay, now we're all set up and ready to go. So I'm just going to do a manual trigger. Bearing in mind I don't have anything connected to it, so I'm not going to see any useful values. If I just press manual trigger, first you've got to press the start button. So press the start button. Then it says down the bottom, wait for trig. So now it's all good to go whenever the trigger occurs, or I press the manual trigger button. We're going to do the recording. I press the manual trigger, and the values are recorded. And that's as simple as it is. If you want to print out, if you want to scroll around, just scroll up here, press the wave button, and then you can use this dial to move around the screen. If you want to move faster, just turn the outside dial. And then when you're all done and you're ready to got a recording you want to print, you just press this print button just here. And obviously I've not got a very exciting recording here. You can see over here it's printing out on the left hand side my nice straight lines. I recorded 50 divisions in this case, so it's going to be about half a meter long. Alright, that's it. Just tear it off, and there we go, one shot recording. Just another very exciting one. And you can see that we've got the numbers of which channel it is marked on the actual recording, as well as information about what your channel setup was, and also what your divisions were set to, and the current time. Alright, all done. That was the intro to the Hioki 8841 Memory HiCorder. Thanks.